Red Rocks. I can't tell you what an honor it is here to be here with you this evening. I'm really, really nervous. So I'm going to take some deep breaths. It just means so much to me to be here. Thank you, guys. Y'all really gonna make me cry. Back in 2020, I was sitting in my garage in East Tennessee with my dad. And my third record deal had fallen apart. And I started writing this song. I'm just gonna play it. Well, I went and did it again. I went and signed myself one of those dirty old record deals. Those things are gonna be the death of me. But I took my money and I made my album. Didn't like it much, but I kept on going and I smiled, and I reckon it's time that I break free. Now I'm going down to get myself a job at a bar, yeah. And I serve drinks to anyone who wants one. Come on by. I thought about moving down to Mexico, getting a job washing dishes, you know. Date a little senorita who don't know nothing about me or where I'm from. Wouldn't that be something? Well, I'm 31 and I'm going on and I'm going on and I'm going on and I'm 31 and I'm going on. I ain't turned myself to a big star yet, but I ain't give up. My dreams ain't dead. I'm just going on, I'm going on. Well, I've been working on my old Honda motorcycle. The thing will run pretty good, but it doesn't want to idle. I guess somehow maybe it takes after me. And I ain't never had a passenger ride on it, but I reckon I'll throw my senorita on the back of it, and we'll ride and we'll ride and ride until we're free. Times get hard, we can move back into my grandma's place. You know, she sure would be glad to see my face, and I can fix up Grandpa's house like I've been meaning to. Well, the rent's pretty cheap, I guess you call it free. I just go and I pick up the groceries, and I do all the little things she needs me to do. Love you, Grandma. 31 and I'm going on and I'm going on and I'm going on and I'm 31 and I'm going on. I ain't turned myself to a big star yet, but I ain't give up. The dream ain't dead. I'm just going on, I'm going on. Now I put on an old George Jones song and I sing and I cry and I laugh along. And I said, George, how'd you know it was gonna be this way? And I know he's been gone for a little while now, but I can feel him here in the air somehow. And we take a shot of Jim Beam to drive the blues away. Oh, and I sit out in the garage with my good old dad, and we watch that Tennessee sun go down. And I knew if I had made it, I wouldn't be with him today. So I just thank God for the time I got, and I don't worry about a hell of a lot. And hey, Dad likes my new songs anyway. 31 and I'm going on and I'm going on and I'm going on and I'm 31 and I'm going on. I ain't turned myself to a big star yet, but I ain't give up. The dream ain't dead. I'm just going on, I'm going on. All right. Thank y'all so much. I'm shaking like a leaf up here. Okay. Thank y'all, truly. So I'm from East Tennessee. I grew up in a place called Morristown, Tennessee. And when I was 17 years old, I got kind of kicked out of high school. I'd missed a lot of days. All I could think about was music. And I had made some little demos and stuff in East Tennessee. And so I had worked all summer at a Chick-fil-A. I was the cow on the side of the road in the cow costume at Chick-fil-A. And I'd saved up enough money to buy a little rolling keyboard. And I put that in the back of my 1989 Mercury Topaz, and I left home. And I went to play open mic nights at like Dave & Buster's and in between Fort Worth, Texas, and Dallas, and all over the place. And after a while, I went on this show called American Idol. If you haven't seen that clip, please don't go watch it. It's really grainy anyway. And because I was on that show, I didn't go very far, but I did end up signing my first record deal with Warner Brothers Records when I was 18 years old. And y'all, I'm just a kid from Tennessee. I'm not a businessman. I don't know anything about the music business. I'm just a kid who loves music. And so I kind of got chewed up and spit out with my first record deal. And but when they let me go, when they dropped me, they gave me one of my songs back that meant a lot to me. And so all these years since then, I get little checks in the mail from Warner Brothers Records. And they're usually like 23 cents or maybe like sometimes 12 cents or even less. But a few years back, I got one. It was for $6. It was big. That's a big one. And so I was living up in the mountains, and I took it, I cashed it, I spent it, and I wrote this song about it. This is the story of the $6 check. When I was a young man, many years ago, I signed my name on the dotted line. It was a 5-album deal. I figured my fate was sealed. Turns out I only got one try. And although I left them deep in debt, every now and then I get a little check. Usually I don't pay it any mind. Oh, but right now times are hard, so I sit out in my car and I wait for the mailman to come by. I got a $6 check from Warner Brothers. I will take you down to the bar on the corner where the whiskey is. Jim Beam, I got enough to cover my Fred and me. That's how I spend my $6 check. People started noticing the good mood I was in. And all of a sudden I made myself a few new friends. And I just kept wishing that check had been for 10. I was getting thirsty talking to them. Later on when I went home, I took a look in the fridge. And all of a sudden I had myself a different wish. I should have bought a loaf of bread instead of those shots of gin. That's okay, I always wanted to be thin. I got a $6 check from Warner Brothers. I will take you down to the bar on the corner where the whiskey is. Jim Beam, I got enough to cover my Fred and me. That's how I spend my $6 check. All right. Now I'm not sure if anybody works there anymore. They got Lester at the door, but he's just for show. Oh, but if there is anybody left, I'm pretty damn sure they do regret the day they let this cowboy go. I got a $6 check from the Warner Brothers. I will take you down to the bar on the corner where the whiskey is. Jimmy, my God, enough to cover my bread and me. That's how I spend my $6 check. You know, y'all, my first ever headlining show was almost a year ago at Globe Hall in Denver. I know y'all two over there were at that. I remember y'all. And my dream was to play the Bluebird. I always loved the Bluebird Theater so much. And we came back and the Bluebird, they moved us from that to the Gothic. So our last show was at the Gothic. It was when that big blizzard hit. And I'll just never forget either of those nights. Y'all have been so good to me here. I can never thank you enough. So that song, $6 Check, is on an album of mine called Motel Mayday. And it's actually a pretty sad album. It's about a breakup. But I'm just going to play y'all the one other happy song on that album. So here it is. It's called Stolen Love. It's a stolen love in the middle of the night. It's the story of you and I. Hearts on fire like a Marlboro light, burning up and it feels alright. It's stolen love, you and I. We tore up the room, we blurred out the lines, breaking hearts in rows at the same time. God knows it's wrong, baby, it feels so right. It's a stolen love, keeps me up at night. Stolen love, keep me up all night. Stolen love, I keep on falling. Damn, is that your old man calling? Tell him I'll give you back in the morning. Stolen love, I keep on falling. Falling. Baby, cut the cord, cross that line in the name of love. Give me one more night. Hey, come on, love, give me one more night. Stolen love, I keep on falling. Damn, is that your old man calling? Tell him I'll give you back in the morning. Stolen love, I keep on falling. Hey! Stolen love, this is what you wanted. Are y'all feeling all right? I don't know if I've ever been in a more beautiful place. My mind is just blown ever since we've been here this morning. Did y'all hear about the UFOs last night or yesterday? Maybe we'll see some. I know I said I wouldn't play all the sad songs on that album I was talking about, but I got one I'm going to play here, and we're going to get it out of the way so we can move on to the other ones. I made a record that came out in October, and it's called Endurance. Thank y'all. It's an album that I didn't know if I'd ever get to make because I was on the outside of music for many years after my third record deal went very badly, and I got kind of locked out of being able to make music. But Endurance is about all the amazing things that have lasted in my life, the love of my family, my mom and my dad, and where I'm from, a place called Appalachia in East Tennessee. Which our mountains are a little different, but it's not too dissimilar from around here. But I'm sure y'all know that sometimes in life, pain can also endure for a long time. And I wrote this song about the endurance of pain. It's called Burn. If it's the last damn thing I do, I'm gonna burn this body down. I never really got over you, I just learned to do it now. At the crossroads of my life, you're the line that runs between the man in the mirror now and the boy he used to be. Baby, out of that clear blue sky, I watched you tread today for tomorrow. And I held my tongue, stood up strong, paid for sorrow. And every long lost dream, every memory, down to a lesson learned. Tears like gas, falling fast. Strike that match and watch me burn, 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 burn. If it's the last time I speak your name, let it only be in truth. That day that you walked away was the last day of my youth. And baby, out of that clear blue sky, I watched you tread today for tomorrow. And I held my tongue, stood up strong, faithful in sorrow. And every long lost dream, every memory, down to a lesson learned. Tears like gas, falling fast. Strike that match and watch me burn, 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 burn. Thank you so much. This is one of my favorite songs off that record I put out, and it's about love all throughout the ages, and all the way back to the Stone Age, the Caveman Age, and I figured it was appropriate to play here today in this beautiful, beautiful place that we are. This is called Any Time or Place. Honey, I don't know about you, but I think we've met before. In fact, I am quite sure this ain't the first time I've been born looking in these eyes of yours. Yes, I would recognize you any time or place. That boyish sanction, sad smiling face. And honey, when I look at you, I see everlasting light, and it penetrates my mind, permeates through time. I remember all that life. I used to be a soldier in their first world war. And these letters I would write, they would make you cry till I crawled back to your door. Oh. I was hauling rocks up to that great big pyramid, and the Pharaoh kept us fed. We walked down by the river bed. I gave you ink and papyrus, and I still remember like it was just yesterday. That boyish sanction, sad smiling face. I lit a little fire to heat up our cave. The sun blazed down into its grave. I grabbed a stone and I carved your name. Thank you so much. I'd like to say the biggest thank you to Trampled by Turtles for having me out. It means so much. It's something I'm never going to forget as long as I live. Thank y'all so much. Back in May of 2022, I was bartending in Nashville, Tennessee. That's how I was making my living, and I had made music for a long time, but I just couldn't figure out how to make it work. And I called a friend of mine who knows a lot. He's a smart guy, and I said, "What do I got to do?" And he said, "You need to get online, and you need to post online every day." And I was thinking about doing some songs by Townes Van Zandt and Leonard Cohen, and he said, maybe pick some younger artists. So I started listening to the Spotify Global Top 50, and I started learning these songs that were popular. And I found some harmonicas in an old tool chest, and I said, okay, I'm going to learn these songs, and maybe I can do them in my East Tennessee redneck way, and maybe people might like that. And my whole life has just changed so much, and I know a lot of y'all that have found me, that's how y'all found me. And so if it's okay, I'd like to play y'all a couple of these country covers tonight. This one's by an artist named Taylor Swift. I have this thing where I get older, but just never wise. Midnight's become my afternoon. When my depression works the graveyard shift, all of the people I've ghosted stand there in the room. I should not be left to my own devices. They come with prices and vices. I end up in a crisis. I wake up screaming from dreaming one one day I'll watch you as you're leaving, 'cause you got tired of my scheming. It's me, I'm the problem, it's me at tea time. Everybody agrees. I stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. Sometimes I feel like everybody is a sexy baby, and I'm the monster on the hill. Too big to hang out, slowly lurching toward your favorite city. Pierce right through the heart, but never kill. Did you hear my covert narcissism? I disguise altruism like some crooked congressman. I wake up screaming from dreaming. One day I'll watch you as you're leaving. Life will lose all of its meaning. It's me, I'm the problem, it's me at tea time. Everybody agrees. I stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. I have this dream where my daughter kills me for the money. She thinks I left her in the will. And all my family gathers round, and then somebody screams out, he's laughing up at us from hell. It's me, I'm the problem, it's me at tea time. Everybody agrees. I stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. Thank you. Thank you so much. I remember all them summers there till my fingers bled. You'd sing the songs and I'd sing with you, and we'd get drunk and go to bed. And looking back on all them memories, Lord, I hate to sleep alone. If you ever get the notion that you need me, let me know. 'Cause it's just 2 hours to get there, babe. I can make it back about an hour or so. Hold you close against my skin, need a little warmth on the night so cold. Singing songs we used to sing, even if it was a little out of tune. Harder than sucks on a Jersey giant. Lord, I thought you hung the moon. through all them winters, drinking wood for two to drown. And we'd get word there was a party, and we'd bundle up and go to town. I miss those nights of reckless glory, and I come back if you just call. 'Cause it's just 2 hours to get there, babe. I can make it back about an hour or so. Hold you close against my skin, need a little warmth on a night so cold. Singing songs we used to sing, even if it was a little out of tune. Harder than socks on a Jersey giant. Lord, I thought you hung the moon. I left town when we were over, 'cause it did not feel the same. Every back road had a memory, and every memory held your name. 'Cause it's just 2 hours to get there, babe. I can make it back about an hour or so. Hold you close against my skin, need a little warmth on a night so cold. Singing songs we used to sing, that one about the lady in the long black veil. Should have seen the morning sun. Lord, I love to hear you well, high and lonesome, hard and strong, even if it was a little out of tune. Harder than socks on a Jersey giant. Lord, I thought you hung the moon. See if I can recap that. How are y'all feeling? You doing okay? I can't get over this. I want to play y'all one more of these country covers, if I may. And if y'all have seen me, I know some of y'all were at Globe Hall or Gothic Theater. You've heard me tell this story. Some of y'all have heard me tell it more because you've been to more. But I like to tell this story when I sing this song. One day, not long after I quit the bar, I took a walk and I heard a song that had been out for a little while, but I hadn't heard it. And I got excited. I went home and I started playing it, and I didn't know why I loved it so much. And then I started to realize what I was singing about. And for me, when I sing this song, I think of my mother, who we lost my mother to cancer in 2009, and she was my biggest fan. She was an awesome woman. I think about her all the time, and I get a lot of messages online from people that say that this version of this song has helped through the loss of somebody. And there's nothing, as a musician, there's nothing that could mean more to me. There's no amount of sold out shows or awards or anything that could be more than that, because I've turned to music in the hardest times of my life, and I know how important it was for me. And so I'm going to sing this song called Ghost. And we'll throw an extra chorus on the end, and I'll step away, and y'all can sing along if you got anybody you want to sing it to, or anything you want to do. We'll just enjoy this beautiful evening, and I love y'all very much. Young blood thinks there's always tomorrow. Miss your touch on nights when I'm hollow. know you crossed the bridge that I can't follow. Since the love that you left is all that I give, I want you to know that if I can't be close to you, I'll settle for the ghost of you. I miss you more than life. And if you can't be next to me, your memory is ecstasy. I miss you more than life. Young blood thinks there's always tomorrow. I need more time, but time can't be borrowed. And I'd leave it all behind if I could follow. But the love that you left me is all that I give. So I want you to know that if I can't be close to you, I'll settle for the ghost of you. I miss you more than life. And if you can't be next to me, your memory is ecstasy. I miss you more than life. All right, Red Rocks. We'll sing one more chorus of this. 1, 2, 3. And if I can be close to Thank you. Y'all are too kind. Thank you. I'm really speechless up here. So after I talk about my mom, I got to talk about my dad with y'all for a minute. When my mom and my dad met, she was a single mother of 3 kids. And after a couple of dates, my dad told my mom, he said, I'm not just falling in love with you, I'm falling in love with the kids too. And Dad worked a minimum wage job at a furniture factory in East Tennessee. That's what we had back then. In East Tennessee was furniture factories. And so I remember hearing him get up 4 a.m. in the morning to go to work. You'd hear the hardboard floors creaking, the hardwood floors. And I knew there was something different about it, something special about it, but it wasn't until I went to work in 2021 at the Amazon warehouse in Lebanon, Tennessee. And I started pulling 60-hour weeks out there. And I was living his life. I was packing my lunch at 4 a.m. and I was driving out there. I was clocking in at 7. And I'd call him, and we got so close in this time. And I would just tell him how much admiration I had for him. And I was out on the floor one day in a machine called an order picker at the warehouse. And these lines came to my head, and I ran home that day. I wrote this song for him. It's called Another Day at the Factory. Well, my old man worked his whole life in Morristown, Tennessee, lifting them couches on the packing line for the Lee Industries. You might say it's low down, and you might say it's defeat, but if it's good enough for my old man, it's good enough for me. And I sure as hell never saw myself here at 33. But all them bills ain't gonna pay themselves, so let tomorrow bring another day at the factory. 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 Well, I leave my house about sunrise. At 7 I punch that clock, catch up with Lou for a second or two on my way out to the dock. And there goes a marking on the forklift, and she really knows she's hot. She's a Kool-Aid cold and 6 feet tall, y'all. I ain't got no shot, so I clear my mind and I do my time until it's time to leave. 5 till 5 I start to come alive, 'cause I'm finally free from another day at the factory. Another day at the factory. And it might be the death of me. Another day at the factory. And it might bring me to my knees. Another day at the factory. And when I'm old and low on time, you just find me asking God if I could go back to my prime for another day at the factory. I got a few more for y'all tonight. I got 3 more to play you. It's the greatest honor to be up here. This song's toward the end of Endurance, the album, and this is about the love that my mom and dad had together. And there was about 11 of us in maybe an 800 square foot house, and we didn't have really any money, but there was so much love in that house. And it was enough, and they got by, and I started thinking about that, and how, you know, those old houses, you have a cord that comes up out of the floor, and I don't know if they make houses like that anymore, but there's a cable that comes out of the floor, and sometimes you can just plug it into the back of your TV, and you get a few free channels, and you call them the basic channels, and that's what we lived on, and I wrote this song about that. When I think of you, I think of growing old easy, settling down real early in the evening, on a twin-size mattress in the middle of a snowstorm, stealing them covers and keeping each other warm. Loving on you till we both go 6 feet. Ain't got much, but we're living that big dream. It's you and me and the basic channels. Got full of weeds and some beat up flannels. Little house out of town, looking down to the highs and lows. When the sky comes down, baby, I'm gonna hold you close. It's you and me and the basic channels, yeah. When I think of you, I think of letting go of misery, turning my past into ancient history. Love that'll last and a little country baby, growing up fast in a world gone crazy. It's you and me and the basic channels. Got full of weeds and some beat up flannels. Little house out of town, I get down to the highs and lows. When the sky comes down, baby, I'm gonna hold you close. It's you and me and the basic channels. All we need are the basic channels. You and me and the basic channels. Yeah. I want to say real quick to any of y'all out there, I know there's got to be some, and I talk with young artists all the time, and about this feeling that you got in your gut that you're meant to do something, and I know that there are times in life where you can get so far away from it, and it can feel invisible. It can feel like it's just impossible, like it can never happen, and I just want y'all to know that I believe that feeling is there for a reason, and no matter how far you get away from it, that you can get back to this place where you belong, and you can do this thing that you dream of doing. And I think I'm a walking testament of the grace of God to be up here. It doesn't make any sense to me still, and thank you so much. So don't give up, please don't give up. You can do it. I believe in you, and I'm rooting for y'all. And this is a song about that. It's called Holy Place. I'm lit up like the 4th of July. You're out with one of your pretty guys who never worked a day in his life. I've been on the grindstone trying to make it right with the songs and the money and God. And my mama, the sign said, go not to stop while the summer erodes into nothing. We left something there on the table of fate, just put it away. Like some ancient law that I must obey. And I'm burning through the bottle while my mind draws a map of your face. Gotta find my way back to that holy place. I was sweating in the Tennessee sun, 10-hour shifts out in Lebanon. I was lifting all day on that line, tending that bar at the end of the night. That whole sky was crumbling, but I kept rumbling. Them girls meant nothing. I was just running from the pain. You and your pretty boys, exactly the same. They don't play, make pretend by my mind rolls a map of your face. Gotta find my way back to that holy place. Do you think of me, honey? pass you by, but ain't it straight? I know it ain't my fault, but I take the plan. And I'm burning through the bottle while my mind on the map of your face. Gotta find my way back to that holy place. Oh, that holy place. Oh, that holy place. Y'all got an amazing show coming up for you tonight. Unbelievable. And it's an honor to be here. I'll never forget this as long as I live. Thank you so much for the love y'all have shown me. I appreciate you so much. And all y'all that came early to sit here and listen to me, there's nothing that means more. I'll play y'all one more song, and I'd just like to say real quick, I'd like to thank all the Bonnevilles out there. I know we're called Josiah and the Bonnevilles, and for a long time it was just me, and there was no band. And people asked, "Where's the band?" And there wasn't one. And a couple years ago, somebody online asked me. They said, "Can I be a Bonneville?" And I said, "You absolutely can." And all y'all can be, because I'm an independent artist. So I don't have any label or anything. I record my music in my bedroom at home. So this is just unbelievable. So y'all are the reason. Whatever stage I get to stand on, whatever music I get to put out, y'all have allowed me to do it. It's the greatest honor. And all right, I'll stop yapping now. This is called Blood Moon. Thank you so much, Red Rock. Deal me in, deal me out, pick me out of a crowd. In the dark, all alone, I go anywhere but home. Blow me up, hold me down, spit me like an atom bomb. Turn the key, hit the road, I go anywhere but home. And there's a blood moon way up in the sky, blood in my nose, blood in my eyes. The moon orange in on Bud Light, you and me, baby, in the heat of the night. And I don't think I'm ever gonna calm down. There's too many bars on this side of town. Too many bars, and the look in your eyes, give you my blood if you give me your time, 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 time. Oh yeah, time, 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 time. Tell me that you'll never leave, even if it's a lie. I'ma double down on what I said in the morning light. 21:32, take me to the end of time. Nothing lasts forever, except maybe you and I. And there's a blood moon way up in the sky, blood in my nose, blood never gonna calm down. There's too many bars on this side of town. Too many bars, and in your eyes, give me my blood. Give me your time, 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 time. Give me your time, 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 time. Oh yeah. Time, 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 time. Oh yeah. Time, 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 time.